With such a bountiful choice of great games for smartphones in the Google Play and App Store, it can prove quite tough to decide what you should be playing. Don't worry, we're here with our hand-picked list of the 12 best new Android and iOS games of May 2020. Most of them are free, some cost a few bucks, but all of them will keep you entertained at home or when you're out and about. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting off at number 12, we have Deadly Land. Deadly Land is a first-person shooter where you fight against waves of zombies all alone. Just like in Zombie Shooter, you'll need to kill them before they kill. The game will delight you with high-quality 3D graphics, large open locations, and convenient controls. Complete missions, destroy waves of leisurely zombies, earn points, and buy more and more weapons, replenishing the arsenal with the best firearms. Also in Deadly Land, as you progress throughout the game, you can upgrade weapons and open new areas of the map, which will make the gameplay even more fun. To collect points, you can destroy items like trash cans. You'll also get points for killing zombies, of course. Now at number 11 is Cyber Fighters. Cyber Fighters is a cool side-scrolling action RPG which takes place after 2100. So World War III and a series of cataclysms have seriously changed the world of the future. Detroit has become a huge prison for criminals from all over the world. But they aren't kept in cells, they're free, but have to fight each other to survive. The main character agrees to perform a deadly mission. He needs to get to the territory of the city, and this isn't really difficult, but fulfill the goals, which is more difficult, and then safely cross the perimeters in the opposite direction, which is almost impossible. Filling out our number 10 slot is Kingdom 2 Crowns. This is a minimalistic micro-strategy with horizontal scrolling and stunning pixel graphics. Accept the crown, mount a faithful steed, and go to recruit supporters and build a kingdom. But expanding the boundaries, don't forget about protection. Hordes of greed are just waiting to take away from you all of your hard-earned loot. Your goal is not only to create a kingdom for the ages, but also to destroy the forces of greed, putting a decisive end to their attacks on your borders. And don't forget to explore the surrounding land. You are waiting for new horses and secrets hidden in the bowels of the earth. Moving on to number 9, we have the Zamazingo. This is an adventure puzzle game in which you are lost in a dark forest full of darkness and terrible creatures, and you need to survive no matter what. As a result of the disaster of the time machine, a small village turned into real chaos, full of horror and fear. A young man named Mark went to check on the scene of the disaster and found himself in a new reality. Now his mission is to return home, finding a time machine, going through the trials and deadly traps. The mysterious world of the Zamazingo is full of caves, invisible dangers that appear at every turn. Overall, the game has nice controls, moody sound, and interesting puzzle platformer maps. Breaking into number 8, we have Zombie Survival. This is a fresh shooter from VNG Game Studios that provides players with the process of survival in a post-apocalyptic world. A classic outbreak of an unknown virus and subsequent epidemic have destroyed the world. Now, the few immune systems which are working against legions of zombies, which in turn are trying to get to the remaining people, we must make every effort to contain the onslaught of the enemy and give humanity a chance to start a new life. Great graphics, high dynamics of what's happening, dangerous opponents, the presence of numerous weapon models, and much more will appeal to fans of both the genre and the setting. Next up at number 7, we have Worm Jazz. Worm Jazz is an award-winning puzzle game that blends game mechanics from classics such as Snake and Bomberman. You take control of Mr. Mark, an earthworm with a particular fondness for smooth jazz and dapper headwear. Wriggle your way through intricate mind-bending mazes filled with mines, wormholes, and power-ups. Are you able to gobble up all the food on each stage and reach the golden apple? Let's talk about the features. The game has over 50 challenging scenarios set in different environments. Discover and unlock many unique hats, smooth jazz, play at your own pace, there's no timers, and unlimited undos. Moving on to number 6, we have GRIS. GRIS is a meditative platformer game in which you will play as a naive girl named Grist, who is closed in her own world because of the pain that enveloped her in reality. Her grief is embodied in her dress, which gives different abilities that allow you to better navigate your world. As the story progresses, Grist becomes emotionally stronger and begins to see her world a little differently, opening up new and newer ways. You'll find a carefully designed and animated world, and your ears will be caressed by the original soundtrack. And also simple puzzles, platformer elements, and optional tests. Moving on to number 5, we have Juicy Realm. Juicy Realm was one of a handful of Chinese games that was supposed to be at GDC, and I really wanted to play, but I never got the chance to. It's a cartoony, bullet hell roguelike about fending off killer planets. So you play as one of a few adorable heroes and explore procedurally generated worlds in search of gear for yourself and resources for your base. As one of the first explorers of the newly discovered plant empire, you must continuously drive deeper and deeper into the enemy's lair, defeat bizarre and colorful fruits while retrieving new gear, weapons, and resources to defend yourself and expand your base camp. Next up at number 4, we have Derived Simulator 2020. If you've always wanted to drive a crane, a huge truck, or even demolish buildings, Derived Simulator is a fun simulation game where you can get behind the wheel of more than 15 vehicles of all kinds that you'll have to complete increasingly complex missions with. Prove your skills in the driver's seat of the heaviest machinery and do the best work possible. To accomplish missions successfully, you need to go from point A to point B, driving through all kinds of cities, and take the curves properly. Be careful in traffic and get to the place where you'll do your work in one piece. Coming in at number 3, we have Beyond Blue. Beyond Blue on iOS is an enjoyable, educational, relaxing game that you can play if you're a subscriber to Apple Arcade. In Beyond Blue, from developer Eline Media, you are Mirai, a deep-sea diver and a marine biologist. The game follows a gentle narrative, putting the focus squarely on gameplay and visuals, giving the player a unique perspective that is both educational and fun. The controls work like many other role-playing games built for touchscreen devices. With your 2 thumbs controlling movement, your left thumb moves in whichever direction you choose, while the right controls the camera. Next up at number 2, we have Guns N' Spurs 2. This is a third-person open-world action and adventure game where you play as Jack Lane, a lone cowboy from the Wild West, who's just arrived in town to find a better life by doing what he does best. Tracks down and captures wanted outlaws and turns them in for money. You can move freely throughout the Wild West, visiting different settlements and riding your horse through the desert. In the settlements, you can interact with different characters and also enter certain buildings, like saloons and sheriff office. You can also take out your guns and start a shootout with anyone on the street, although then you'll have to run away from the law. And finally, at number 1, we have Area F2. Area F2 is a first-person action game that's openly based on the groundbreaking and equally epic Rainbow Six Siege. Once again, an anti-terrorist commando is faced with the task of locating and neutralizing threats after parapenting into the compromised area. Each team is fully comprised of fellow soldiers controlled by real-life human players. If you've ever played Rainbow Six Siege, setup for Area F2 is a breeze. Throughout the first few seconds of play, anti-terrorist officers inspect the area using drones, while terrorists lurk, setting up traps to thwart their enemies. From there, your anti-terrorist squadron is set out on the path to complete their objective by deactivating the terrorist compound, by any means necessary. So that's it, you guys. If you found this video interesting, then please leave it a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Once again, I'm Sarah, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.